Okay, today is 1/5/2024, you guys. Wolf Creek Pass. We're looking south. Our object is still there, rotating behind the clouds. You guys be sure and stay tuned for the end of the video. I have some other things to let you guys know. Some strange things spotted in the clouds and some weird rumors flying around on the internet. Just want to see if it bounce it off you guys and see if you're hearing the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it could be higher up. Usually, maybe a little smaller. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Anyway, I hope everybody's New Year is starting off really great. And everybody's safe. Because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of really bizarre weather going on all over the planet. And I know that where I'm at, one of the lucky ones that hasn't been affected by the weather too much. So I hope you guys are the same. And let's pray for the people that have been affected by all the bizarre weather. All right, you guys, moving on. Check this out, you guys. There looks like there's a structure hidden in the clouds. Or is it just a cloud? I don't know, that looks really suspicious. Look at that. And they have sprayed chaff all day. Look at it. Look at the sky. That looks weird, you guys. And also, I just want to give a note real quick, you guys, that I heard going around online that the banks are possibly going to shut down for like 3 weeks or something, and they're going to call it a cyber attack, okay? So they're going to do a false flag, and they're going to shut it down, wait for everything to go into chaos and say, oh, we know how to fix it. We're going to turn it all back on. Don't freak out. But you're going to have to use a new number, or you're going to have some kind of an ID thing. Anyway, if we all know about it, hopefully they won't do it. Maybe it's just a silly rumor anyway, right? Ooh, is there a face right there? Look, there's like a face right there. Peeking out. Oh my God, I'm losing my mind. It's cray-cray. What is happening is, do you guys see the face? It's like at the 5 o'clock of the sun in the cloud there. Oh, I swear to God, it just moved. It better not move again. If it does, I'm going to freak out. So I'm sitting in my car recording this. Wow, I swear, it looked like a face. It was creepy. And see that one cloud is just sitting there? It looked like a spaceship. Something ain't right. Raven out.
You're going to see members of the FDIC and other panel discussions in this FDIC meeting. It's not just FDIC members. It's lawyers, it's bankers, but they're all around a table having a meeting admitting that a crash is coming. They're saying this. And they're also saying publicly in this meeting, and they all kind of laugh about it, that they don't have any faith in the banks. They also admit on camera that they don't want you to know this because only people who need to know that it's coming should be notified, i.e. the wealthy. They don't want you to know about this. And they say it in this meeting. You common people shouldn't be told, because you would take your money out of the banks, and then they wouldn't be able to use your money for bail-in purposes to save the banks. We'll let the rich people know about this, just like in March 2020. They made moves because we alerted them. They sold their stocks. They were in the know. They were fine. And you got screwed. And they're saying this in this meeting. This is the FDIC meeting. I'm going to show you a couple of different sound bites here. This is amazing. Watch.
Should be accessible when people need to know, but I don't think you have much hope of reaching a public that doesn't have a professional need to know.
I completely agree with that. I almost think you'd scare the public if you put this out. Like, why are they telling me this? Should I be concerned about my bank? Like, my insurance company doesn't tell me what they're doing with my assets. They just assume they're going to pay my claim, right? I think you've got to think of the unintended consequences of taking a public that has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than maybe people in this room do. That
You hearing them laughing?
They're laughing. That's really stinking condescending. What I hear from that is like, run along, little girl.
Yeah.
You don't need to know. And also, ever heard of FTX? Because, yeah, we don't like that. When we realize that people are doing stuff with our money that's untoward. Turns out not a great idea.
So we don't have faith in the banking system in here, and they all laugh. They're like, yeah, none of us do. We're the FDIC.
We can't tell the little people what's really...
select crowd of people that are in the institutional side. And if they want to understand this, they're going to find a way to understand this. There's a bunch of law firms represented in this room. There's a bunch of people that charge them by the hour a lot of money to explain this all to them. And it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And they all have huge staffs. But I would be careful about the unintended consequences of starting to blast too much of this out in the general public.
I wondered whether there are some market tests of whether you're being heard.
So
But there's no adult in that room. Like, yeah, that's
And I
fine.
think about
Anybody there who's like, maybe that's a little unethical. Should we have lunch on that? Should we think about that for a minute?
no, because they keep going. And that's just the first little chunk of this. So you're too stupid. We don't want you to know, the average person, to know about this. If you're wealthy and you're plugged in, you've got a large legal team, and you can pay people by the hour to figure all this stuff out. Yeah, you can figure it out.
I mean,
the average
he kind of
person
has a
no.
point.
He does have a point.
You know,
the system is
because
rigged.
like when they announced there was a pandemic, a viral infection, toilet paper was like impossible to get. You know, there was a run on toilet paper. So I get that the fact that there would be a run on the banks, and it could devastate the banks. You know,
It will.
because people, yeah, totally,
Because of the way that they're structured.
exactly.
It's a scam. Like, it's a scam. And the great house of cards is going to come down. When the collapse comes, the FDIC admits that they will send out an announcement. So get ready for this. They admit they will send out an announcement, and they will tell us not to use money. This is how that's going to go down. They tell us that they plan on telling us on a Friday night. See if you can guess why they would tell us on a Friday night that the banking system has collapsed. Don't worry, don't use any money. We'll figure this out, and we'll take care of you, or not. We'll tell you on a Friday night. Listen to her explain when this will happen. Watch.
How would we use targeted guarantees to allay concerns about excess cash use? There's a lot of questions here. There are a lot of things we've been thinking about, and what we want to hear from you today is what you think the priorities would be in order to go about setting expectations appropriately in public about how we would execute Title II. So that if and when we do have to have that announcement on Friday night, ideally Friday night, that people are in a position to receive it, understand it, and say, yeah, that works. And we can see how this will happen. Of course, there will be doubters, but there's a lot of things going on.
Hi, Jim Rickards here. And what I'm holding in my hand is something called a gold back. It's a thinly printed sheet of real gold, wrapped in a nearly indestructible polymer.
Okay, thanks for that.
So Friday night, of course, and the banking system is closed. So people all weekend can just be at home freaking out because, oh, wait a minute, I just lost, what's going to happen with my money?
Yeah.
My bank's going, we're in this economic, just what the hell are you going to do about my money? It's gone. They're admitting this is coming. And they're saying that they managed to pull their money to the rich people will pull their money to safety ahead of time. But most people were totally screwed because they weren't in the know. This is what happened in 2020, right? Those people got screwed because they weren't in the room where it happened. They weren't Bill Gates. They didn't get the heads up, the phone call from Nancy Pelosi. Here is how he actually admits that some people will be screwed by this. Watch.
Spread should respond to good and bad news about the institutions, and it's really important. I mean, it's a little bit conflicted, right? I mean, it's important that people understand they can be bailed in, but you don't want a huge run on the institution. But I mean, they're going to be. And it could be an early warning signal to the FDIC and the primary regulators when these things happen. And there may be some other prices. This is similar to what Jay was saying in the market, that you can tell whether people understand who's going to be protected, who isn't going to be protected. It would be, I think, an interesting study to look at the evolution of market prices in a situation like March of 2020, for example, and see whether people understood what might happen.
I might go further than that, Don, because I think that...
So listen to this next guy. This is unbelievable. So this guy just admitted, like, that most people didn't understand because they weren't educated about it. The people that were in the know managed to be okay. The people that got screwed because they weren't in the... we wouldn't give them information. Listen, though, to the next guy.
You look at the evolution, I think we have to sit down and talk to long-term debt investors and make sure that they, as a stakeholder group, fully understand bank debt today is not what it was before. It is not principal protected by design. And I think that expectation, I like how you started off, Betsy, like it's all about expectation setting. And I think that is absolutely critical. If that doesn't hold, this whole thing doesn't hold. And so I think it's one area to focus on.
So if the expectation doesn't hold, then this whole phony house of cards collapses, is basically what he's saying. Did I read that wrong? If the expectation doesn't hold, the expectation that our banking system is fine,
meaning we need to maintain the ruse.
Yes, we need to maintain the facade, is what he's saying.
Okay.
And not just him. We heard that 4 or 5 times around that table. The same thing was said multiple times about the facade, the phoniness of it all.
Yeah.
The house of cards of it all. So
and guess what, you guys? We've got a mysterious devil comet that looks like the Millennium Falcon will pass by Earth next spring. It's actually going to be happening right during the eclipse. Well, we'll be able to see it during the eclipse. And it leaves and won't approach for another 71 years. Supposedly it's going to have some wings. So during the eclipse, we're going to be able to see it. Unfortunately, in my area, I will not be able to see it. It's been nicknamed the Devil Comet. There's no reason to fear the Comet 12/P Pons-Brooks. So that's coming for the spring of next year. And there you can go look up the article yourself.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Охренеть. 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 See those numbers.